Hello, students. I promised you that I would send out another video about electron configuration. And we talked in the other video about the energy levels, sublevels, and the orbitals. So let me just review that. The first energy level only has one type of sublevel, and that is an S sublevel. And S has only one orbital, and each orbital can hold 2 electrons. Then we would go up to the second energy level. So you always fill in order of lowest energy level, lowest sublevel, and then on up. So in the second energy level, we have an S and a P sublevel. S still has one orbital. It can hold 2 electrons, and P holds 3 orbitals. And since each orbital holds 2 electrons, that's a total of 6 electrons. So that entire second energy level can hold up to 8 electrons, 2 of them in the S orbital and 6 of them in the P orbital. Then we go to the third energy level, and we have S, P, and D sublevels. S still has just one sublevel. It still holds only 2 electrons. P still has 3 orbitals. It can hold up to 6 electrons. D, as you might imagine, has 5 orbitals, and that can hold 10 electrons. And then we come to the next energy level, and all the energy levels after this are kind of the same: an S, a P, a D, and an F. S is still 1 orbital, 3, 5, and you can guess F is 7. 2 electrons, 6 electrons, 10 electrons, 14 electrons. And as you put electrons into the configuration for each element, you're merely going to go in order of filling of energy. So you're going to fill 1s first, then 2s, then 2p, then 3s, then 3p, then 3d, then 4s, then 4p, then 4d, then 4f. Okay, it's not quite that simple, but that's going to get us through today. What you'll know later on is that 4s fills before 3d, but don't worry about that right now. So let's do a few practice ones, and then we'll talk about dot diagrams, etc. Okay. So as we're filling these, of course, I already said that you're going to enter the orbitals of lowest energy first. Lowest energy first. Each orbital holds 2 electrons. We already said that. And electrons do not double up in equal energy orbitals unless they have to. And we're not going to worry too much about that. So on your worksheet, you have, I think, something like, I think you have sodium is one of the first ones. And so you know from the periodic table that sodium has 11 electrons. So we're going to fill these in order. So you're going to have 1s, 2, 2s, 2 electrons, 2p, 6, and 3s, 1. And you can determine that that's correct because if you add these up, you get 11. Okay, the next thing we want to start talking about is the fact that the highest energy level is the valence level. And for this, it's this. There's the highest energy level. 3 is higher than 2, and 2 is higher than 1. There is 1 electron in that energy level. So we say that sodium has 1 valence electron. And in fact, everything in that same group as sodium has one valence electron. And we can draw a dot diagram of that by writing the symbol and using a dot for the valence electron. And so everything in that group has its symbol with one dot around it to specify the valence electron. Something else that we want to kind of get used to doing is, just because it's kind of annoying to write these things out in the larger electron configurations, is sometimes we want to just do an abbreviated electron configuration. And what we do is we go to the nearest noble gas before that element. And I believe that the nearest element before sodium would be neon. Okay, so the noble gas before sodium is neon. And so we put brackets around that, and that signifies the electron configuration for neon. And the reason we do that is because those electrons, both of those energy levels are completely filled up, and those electrons are important, but they don't really matter with bonding. What matters is the valence electron. So we put the noble gas in parentheses. Okay, that represents all of that. And then we put everything else there. Okay, so that means neon plus 3s1. And that's the abbreviated form. Right? So I want to do one more. I want to do something like, let's here, whiteboard. Okay, let's do magnesium. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. I'm just filling them in order. 3s2, and that's it. Okay, so we would do the abbreviated form. There's neon, all that is neon, plus 3s2. So 2 valence electrons. All of the elements in that group have 2 valence electrons, and their dot diagram would look like this, except of course it would be calcium with 2 dots, or strontium with 2 dots. Okay, so I hope that helps. We'll be looking at possibly orbital filling diagram in the next week after you come back. I'm not really sure. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, please let me know.